And that must save the farm. I mean, that's like a huge increase in efficiency from day one. Well, once the animals are trained on it, I assume, because now the ones that don't have that, they must be physically like herding for hours a day, or plus the fences, or they're putting down
Yes.
fences, putting them back up.
Well, you can imagine. I mean, you can see it when you're traveling on a train and you're going through any sort of, let's say, agricultural landscape. Is that the fencing and the hedges essentially dictate the environment within which the farmer farms the land. Longer term, no fence is opening up a situation where livestock farmers don't need to have these physical barriers in the landscape. At the most, one extreme use of no fence is in conservation grazing. So actually some of the biggest clients of no fence in the UK at the moment are the big wildlife charities and the National Trust, who are actually using this to manage animals in huge landscapes which are of cultural and ecological significance. And they can now do things that they weren't able to do beforehand. So they can avoid certain areas that had ground nesting birds, and they don't have to be continually out in the landscape micromanaging the herd because the fence is controlled.
And they have to
by
like
the
charge
system.
the collars or whatever they're using, because
So you do have to charge the collars periodically. So you get
Okay.
replacement ones which you can charge up with battery packs, but they're also solar panels.
Oh,
So
right.
they last
once
for
they're
hours.
out. Okay, so they're
They
out.
last for a long, long time.
So you could leave them even in landscape that's not even got that much human involvement if you wanted to because from what I understand about grazing cattle, it contributes to the soil. If you have animals there, they poo on those parts of the land, that contributes to the soil health as well. Is that why you're sending them out grazing?
Yeah, I mean, it's again, like lots of things, it's complicated and it's nuanced. And we should be transparent that a lot of livestock farming, even extensive farming where they're only eating grass, a lot of that land is degraded and the grass is overgrazed.
As a result of them.
As a function of poor management. It's not the animal's fault. It's the fact that the management of those animals hasn't led to improvements in soil health.
Okay.
It's these strategies that Chris was talking about in terms of amp grazing, rotational forms of grazing, essentially mimicking the natural predator-prey relationship, which is what triggers this ecological healing. And critically, that's where animals are constantly on the move. They're bunched and herded rather than spread out across the land. And every blade of grass has a significant recovery period. It's a bit like exercise. You don't go to the gym for 7 or 8 hours a day and expect and then have a tiny meal and a short sleep and expect great results.
Right.
It's the same thing with the land. Is the land needs to have that stimulus, it needs to have that exercise.
Which is the grazing.
So
by cutting the grass, that stimulates more growth in it.
Grasslands evolved with ruminants.
Yeah.
They are one and the same. So a grass, I've mentioned overgrazing as a common dimension of degenerative modern agriculture, but another one is understocking. Right. So if you have a landscape which is a grassland landscape or has that ecology within it, historically had grass there, if you remove all of the animals from that landscape, the grass goes brittle, it oxidizes, it goes black because essentially rather than decomposing in the soil, it's oxidizing and the carbon's going back up into the atmosphere. And the grass will eventually die back.